Hello, welcome to Scrapbox Expressions. So what do you do when you run across a really beautiful piece of paper that seems intimidating because it's got all these colors and it's dark and you're just not sure? Well, today's video is going to help you with that. When you come across something that is this busy, it's still usable. You don't have to be afraid of it. What you're going to do is look at the colors within it and see what you can pull from. It has lots of pink, so that's an obvious. I'm not going to use the pink. I want something to contrast with that pink. But I see that there's a pale green, there's some yellow, and there's some blue. I think blue is a really good choice. So I'm going to use a blue cardstock. What we have here is an 8.5 by 11 regular sheet of cardstock. We're going to score it right down the center at 8.5. So we're going to score it 5.5, holding it horizontally. And just fold this. And then we're going to cut this really busy paper into our layer that we're going to develop the rest of our card on. So since the card is 8.5 now by 5.5, this piece needs to be cut to 8 by 5. So I'm going to take this paper cutter and just trim this down. Start this way. That's going to give me a 1/4 inch border right around. I'm using a glue tape to help with my adhering. It's a really quick way to run and get your piece on. Now just take your time and carefully line this up. I don't press anything down until it looks the way I want it to look. Then once I have it in place, then I just go in and secure it. So now we've got a really nice border. This reminds me of a candy shop. I know it has flowers, but it reminds me of a candy shop. And so I'm thinking sweet treats. And I'm going to build an ice cream cone. So I'll put this to the side and just show you how we do that. Ice cream cones are triangular, so I'm just going to cut a loose triangle shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to eyeball the angle. I'll neaten this up later, but it's just loose just to get me started. And I'm going to take this lighter brown piece and just trim a few thin strips that we can utilize to help to add texture to our cone. They don't have to be even, they don't have to be the same size. It's just getting some wafers on. However you choose to do it, and I choose to collage because I love collaging. I love putting things together and making stuff. So we're going to use these strips just to build a quick wafer. I have this glue pen and I'm going to put a stripe and a strip. Put another stripe and a strip. And we'll just do that, and then we'll do it in the opposite direction as well. I'll give this a little bit of time to dry while I work on the other parts that I want to do for this card. just going to press those down. I'm going to do a loose trim. Again, not perfect, because we're going to go back in and neaten this all up. Just wanted to get the idea down. And we're going to come the opposite way. So I'm going to put a stripe here. Put a strip. Put a stripe, loose stripes. So we'll set this aside to dry. And I'll show you what I'll do for my ice cream. Now, when you're crafting, if you don't have a lot of tools and gadgets, that's absolutely fine. One thing I do try to recommend is getting a couple of circle cutouts, if you can, because those work wonders. You can do so many things with them. So I'm going to be using 3 sides of circles, 3 different sizes. I have 1 1/4 inch. I have 3/4 of an inch, and I've got 1 3/4 inch. So that's what I'm going to use. Now, this card is a lot of pink, but it's okay to still use solid pink on top of it because it's going to break up that pattern that you see. So I'm going to be using some pink, and I'm going to use some light blue. I have 2 shades of pink here. I have this baby pink, this pale pink, and I have this fuchsia, which plays off of both of the color pinks that are in here. It has some lightness and some darkness in terms of the pink. So we're going to use this, and we're also going to use some blue to continue to bring out what we see here. So another good option is to break up all of this brown, and we're going to do that by putting 1.5 inch strip or band across this. That's going to be a nice way to break this up. I'm going to cut this at 1.5 inches, and its measurement across is 5.5 inches. So we're going to use this band right here, and do you see how that already breaks this up? So we're just going to add this onto that portion of our card. Oh, if the glue would work. Okay. So I'm going to fill this with glue to make sure it sticks well. I'm going to put this right here. For my ice cream cone, I'm going to use the light pink. And for my cupcake, I'm going to use the darker pink. Now I'm going to develop these by adding circles made from blue. So punching a circle with a circle is a really fun way to bring a nice look to your work. So I'm going to start off with my smaller circle. I want a couple of those. So I'm going to punch this circle here. I'm going to take my larger punch out and I'm going to punch around that. Since I said I want a couple, I'm just going to do it again. So we're going to use these circles to layer over our ice cream. I'm also going to do the same thing using a smaller circle. And then the middle size circle. Now we're going to take that cone and we're going to trim it to the size that we want. The paper should be pretty much dry, so there won't be movement when we cut it. And I'm just going to neatly line it up and make it a little bit smaller. And do the same thing on this side. Just make it nice and neat. So now we've got this nice textured wafer of a cone that we're going to add right here. And we're going to put our ice cream with our large circle on top of that. And we're going to put a small circle on the inside. In fact, I think I want to make this one actually larger. And we'll cut a larger circle. There we go. Just so it fills out the top of the cone more. This will go nicely around that one. Just a layer on top. And this is going to layer, and I'm going to pop it up with the mountain dot. So I'm going to put some glue here. Rest that right in there, but I'm not going to stick it all the way down, because later on I'll go in and put a dot just to elevate this and give it some dimension. So now you've got this cute little cone. And if you want to, we can use this and make more. You can add another circle here. And I think that's a good idea, so I'm going with it. Another circle there. And another circle on the other side. So the cone is totally full. And doesn't look like I was skimping on ice cream. There. So we've got our ice cream on here. Now we're gonna make a basket or a cupcake holder. So I'm gonna emboss a piece of the light pink to become our basket. I'm just gonna cut a strip here. I don't need a large piece. Now I have other embossing machines, but because I'm working with something so tiny, I'm just gonna let this work for me for now. When you emboss something, it adds really nice texture to your work. So this is just gonna stop it from being flat and give it a really nice texture. So now that this is all embossed, I'm just going to use this just to cut out a basket. And since this seems to be like a central focal point, I'm going to use this to help me get my shape. Just a simple diagonal cut on one side and another diagonal on the other. Straight across the bottom and straight across the top. That's going to be a little basket that sits right there. We're going to use this blue circle as our cupcake. Just stick that in the middle. And if you want to get cute, you can add little blue circles on the side so that it will be full. Everybody likes a full basket. And now, this is what we've got so far. Next up, we're going to put a sentiment, a saying right here. We're going to stamp something here. And we're going to add some words here. Just one big word. We're going to keep the blue going because it's going to continue to bring the contrast that we need. So here I've got a die that says sweet. I'm just going to cut it out of blue paper and stick that right there. So I'm going to use my handheld die cut machine. got the word sweet. So we're going to put that right there. I'm going to use a glue pen that's going to help to get this into these small spaces. It doesn't help that the glue is blue and so is the paper. But it's definitely a neater option to get on words like this. Just hold it to make sure it's secured. I like to just wait a minute. And if you see there's a trouble spot, you can just fix that. The good thing about this glue is that it dries clear too. So if some peeps out, it's okay. Alright. It's coming along. Oh, I wanted to add this. That one? No, a light pink one. Now we're going to stamp a sentiment on here, and I'll add the light pink one in a bit. So this stamp says happy birthday to you. So we're gonna ink it up with some black archival ink. This is waterproof, so once you get it on here, it's not going to run or drain if the card gets wet. So that's a really good kind of ink to use. I'm going to just get this here. And then I'm going to cut around that. So I'm just going to line it up and make a really neat cut line here. And then make one here. This one should be about there. Now for me, layering is fun. So even though this looks cute here, I'm going to actually take it and back it on a piece of fuchsia because I think that's going to look amazing. So I'm just going to glue that there and then cut around that. Now sometimes you can go and pre-measure and stuff, but when I'm just working, this is how I work. I'm an eyeballer. I look and make things neat and usually get them good. But there are times that I do have to measure. But for the most part, I eyeball. I eyeball it and it works. So this is now a layer that comes in here. Now I did say I wanted to add a pink layer for that circle, for that basket. So let me get that done. I think I want to put a big fuchsia one around that. Into the small circle first. And the large circle last. And just get this right around there. And then I think I'm going to put another dot just to raise that up so it's not flat. And every card for me just about needs bling. So I'm going to pop that in there. One there and one up top. So here you've got it. You don't have to be afraid of pattern paper or busyness because there's a way to work within everything. Thanks for stopping by Scrapbox Expressions. If you like this video, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel and share. Thank you.